Today, we're going to take a little bit different of a course than we normally take. And I want to talk about the agent investor events. And I specifically want to talk about the event that we have coming up this April 2023, April 12th and April 13th. But I also want to talk about future events, why we do the events, how you can always find out when our next event is and what it's about, so that anytime that you're available to attend any of our events, you know where to go. Okay. So I'm going to start out just really quickly talking about why we do live events because, um, as you're listening to this right now, you're either listening to this on the live stream through Facebook or you're maybe listening to the podcast. And I love doing live streams. I love doing podcasts. I like doing stuff virtual. I think it's fun. It's easy. You can sit in your living room. You can sit in your office. You can, listen to a podcast when you're walking around your house or you're at the gym or you're in your car. But I will say this, over the course of the 15 to 20 years I've been in business, the most impactful events or talks or lessons that I've gotten have come from in-person events. And that's really why we do them. And if you really think about it, really simply, there's just such a big difference between you listening to a podcast while you're on the treadmill or walking around or doing your laundry or sitting at your house versus being 110% immersed by 200 to 300 people all in a room where you're putting away your laptops, you're putting away your cell phones, and all that you have to focus on is the in-person event. So I don't do these for no reason. And as you all know, our events are always free. And they're free for you, right? They're free for you, the attendee. They're not free for me. And each and every one of these events cost us somewhere around six figures to do. And that may sound like a lot of money, but when I talk about what we actually do at the events, you'll see why it cost us six figures. And I say this only because there's a reason that we do these in person. Like if I could do these on podcast or live stream and get the same impact for my company and for you, I would just do them virtual because it would save me a ton of money, every single year. So I do want to talk about some of the high level stuff about every event that we have. So number one, I already talked about the fact that all of these events for you are free, right? You show up, there's no ticket price, and we even buy you food at the event. Okay, so they're completely free to you. They're always 2 days. Okay, they're always 2 days. I wish that I could accomplish what I want in 1 day or 2 hours or 3 hours, but we want you to leave our events with everything that you need related to investing in real estate for a 90 to 120 day period, right? We're going to jam pack everything into 2 days. We want to get you fully immersed, and both of those days are full days. They always start at 9 a.m. They typically go until 4 or 5 p.m. Once in a great while, we'll go over 5 p.m. if there's a lot of great questions. But I also want to mention as well, because, there are people that can't make 100% of those hours. Almost everybody who comes to our event are real estate agents. If you're not a real estate agent, you're more than welcome to attend. But for real estate agents, we know that a lot of stuff can kind of come up last minute. And I just want to say that if for whatever reason you need to dip out for an hour or 2 hours or something pops up, I would rather you register for the event so that we know that you plan on coming, and then let us know that you can't show up or you can only show up for half the time, rather than you not letting us know. Because if we know that you're coming to the event, we can make sure we have the right seating, the right food, the right everything, okay? So they're always 2 days, 9 to 5. They're almost always going to be in a hotel in Greater Boston. In this specific case, it's going to be in Woburn, Massachusetts for the April 12th and April 13th, 2023. However, we do these events typically on 3 or 4 times a year. If you're listening to this, 6 months later, if you're listening to this in 2024, whenever you're listening to this after the fact, you can always figure out when our next event is, and you can always figure out where it is, and you can always register for it by going to www.agentinvestorevent.com. www.agentinvestorevent.com. That's an evergreen website. You can go to it at all times. All of our events feature a bus tour where we take you to a property that we're currently renovating. The past few, we've taken everybody to apartment buildings. The last one we did, we took them to an 88-unit apartment building that we're renovating in Nashua, New Hampshire. The one before that, we took everybody to a 19-unit that we're doing in Wakefield, Massachusetts. So we're going to take you to a property. We're going to talk to you about the deal. We're going to talk to you about the construction. We're going to have our construction team there, okay? And we always give away a free, all-inclusive, two-person trip, okay? Last event, we did Aruba, and we had a really fun and exciting giveaway because as you all probably know, if you've been to our events, you get entered in to a trip to Aruba just by filling out the form at www.agentinvestorevent.com and putting down the names of a couple of people that you're going to bring to the event, okay? So that's all that you need to do. And the last winner brought her brother, right? He wasn't even a real estate agent. He was somebody that was interested in investing, and she brought her brother, and we called his name, and she won the ticket, okay? So 2-day, all-inclusive trip to Aruba, free. Pretty good deal. And we do that because we want to make sure that you're helping us. It's a win-win. You're helping us promote the Agent Investor brand, get people to attend the event, potentially change somebody's life by opening up their eyes to real estate investing. In this case, it's actually pretty cool. She brought her brother and open up his eyes and hopefully he takes something away from the event. Obviously, the winner got the tickets, but her brother got to see what it's like to invest in real estate over a 2-day period. Okay, so now I want to talk a little bit about the topics. Okay, so I want to talk about what I would call evergreen topics. Doesn't really matter which one of our events you go to. The actual specifics are never going to be the same. Every event that we have is different. But having said that, there's a few big general topics that we always talk about because they're that important, okay? And in fact, if you have ever been to an event of mine before, I will always say real estate investing is about 3 things: land, labor, and capital, right? Access to great deals, access to great labor, and access to capital. So at every single one of our events, we're always going to cover a specific niche within those 3 things, okay? We are always going to talk about how to find great deals, whether it's finding great short-term rentals, great multifamily properties, great flip properties. We're always going to show you ways to get great deals that are not on the multiple listing service. We're always going to teach you how to find off-market deals, to get them at a discount, to make sure that every asset that you own is a great asset. There's a saying in real estate investing: your money is made when you buy the property, not when you sell. Meaning that if you buy a great deal, the money is already baked in. So at every one of these events, we're going to teach you and train you on how to find great deals. Second thing we're always going to train you on is how to fund deals, even if you have no money. For those of you who know my story, I grew up in a town called Revere, Massachusetts. My parents had no money. I started with nothing. So I had to learn how to do deals with no money. I almost hesitate to talk about doing deals with no money because every time the words come out of my mouth, I can hear somebody in my head with the objection that, you can't do that. You always need money to do deals. And while you do need money, you don't need your money. And in fact, at every event, we teach you how you can actually partner with our team. And in fact, we did a very simple deal last year with a couple of people that are in the Inner Circle, our coaching program, single family in a town north of Boston, where there was a profit of over $300,000 that we split 50-50. The people that we partnered with brought the deal to us. We funded it, we renovated it, and then we split the profit 50-50. That's not the only thing we're going to teach you about how to do deals with no money. There is a lot of ways to use creative financing. There's a lot of ways to raise capital. At the end of the day, you do not need money to make money investing in real estate. And we're going to teach you how to do that at every event. We're also going to teach you how to pull off the construction. We're going to have my construction team there. Depending on what type of investing you're doing, you may only be doing very light or minimal repairs or construction, or at the other end, you might be doing very heavy lift construction. So our team has done everything from, light rental renovations all the way, to building 100-unit apartment buildings and everything in between. So we're going to teach you the best practices at each one of these events on how to do the construction. Even if you're like me, you're a CPA, you're an accountant, you don't know very much about construction, we're going to teach you how to estimate repairs, how to budget repairs, how to find good contractors. Again, these are the staples that we're going to talk about at every event. Again, every event's going to be different. So the exact topic is going to be a little bit different. The exact methodology and the strategies and the systems that we teach, we're always going to keep it fresh so that if this is your second or third or fourth time, you're always going to be learning new things. It's boring to me to teach the same exact thing every single time. I will never do that. So don't feel like if you've been to one of our events before that it's going to be the same thing. When we talk about finding great deals, how to do deals with no money, how to pull off the construction, there are literally 50, 60, 70 topics within each one of those that we train on. And of course, we can only do so many at each event. So we're going to continue to kind of go through them and rotate through them. We're always going to teach about property management. Of course, like what we always say, sales will make you a living, investing will make you wealthy. How does investing make you wealthy? But by the ownership of assets. Well, it's great to own assets, but in order to keep those assets and not lose those assets, you need to manage them properly. So we're going to teach you about property management. We're going to have our property management team there. We also always train and teach on the agent advantages, right? Agent investor. There's a reason I created the brand Agent Investor. Agents have a unique advantage when it comes to investing in real estate, more so than the average everyday person. And in fact, most of you know my story. I used to have a coaching program where I would open it up to the general public, and anybody could sign up, anybody could pay for my coaching program. And the people who always got the most success were real estate agents, because real estate agents, they already know how to comp properties. They know what places rent for. They know what areas to buy properties in. They get great deals put in front of them a lot of times by accident. They already have lenders in a lot of cases, or they have people in the industry. They might have contractors in their back pocket already. So there's a reason it's called Agent Investor, and we teach on how to use agent advantages, right? All of the things that you already know, all of the advantages you already have to make investing easier. We also show you as an agent how this doesn't have to be a 40-hour extra a week thing, right? We show you how to leverage what you already have, maybe to work a little bit more, but to get huge results, okay? We're also going to teach you on every single event how to use systems, right, to get predictable results. Everything that we do, from finding great deals, funding deals, property management, there's a step-by-step process that we follow within our own company. And we are going to specifically teach you and show you the systems in our business that we use to get predictable results year after year. So you might be wondering, well, this all sounds great, but why should I listen to Tom? Why should I come to one of his events? The reason that you should come to one of our events is because I am speaking to you right now. I'm speaking to an agent that likely is on the real estate roller coaster like I was, with your income going up and down and up and down. Not predictable. Even if you're doing great as an agent, I did great as an agent. There were months where I made no money. That stressed me out. I knew that as an agent, I didn't want to work every night and every single weekend for the rest of my life, right? I mean, it was cool when I was 20, 21, 22, 23 as an agent. I would get excited. Hey, somebody wants to see a house, Saturday or Sunday. Well, I get nothing else going on. But as life goes on, the longer that you're an agent, the more you realize, hey, I don't want to work every single night and weekend. I also don't want to have to deal with clients that I know I should fire. When you're an agent and you don't have passive income and you're not investing, a lot of times you're driving all over creation. You're taking every client, every and any client because you have to, right? So why you should listen to me is I can guarantee whatever you're going through, I was there. I was an agent. I was on the real estate roller coaster. I had no other source of income. I was working 60 to 70 hours a week. And what investing has done for me is allowing me and my partners to be financially free. And we've done that. We've done over 1,000 fix and flips, more like 1,200 fix and flips. We built an over 300 unit rental property portfolio. I've personally raised $20 million of private capital to help fund our deals, right? I talked about the fact that I had no money to start. I had to raise capital. And at these events, we're going to show you how to raise capital. Or if you've got capital, deploy your capital so that you can get a passive return, okay? I built a real estate brokerage of over 350 agents based on the principles that sales will make you a living, investing will make you wealthy. We don't want people not to do sales. Sales is your active income. We absolutely believe in sales. It's the reason I have a brokerage. But we also believe that sales will make you a living, investing will make you wealthy. Our team is in the process of building over 300 apartment units right now in all different phases. And we're going to show you one of those apartment deals at the event. But again, I was an agent. I started with no money. And if you want to get off that real estate roller coaster, I know I am personally able to do that because I was in your shoes. I was where you're at today. Okay. So what we've helped others achieve, I just talked about what I've done, right? What me and my team have done. Well, that's great. But what have the stuff that we've teached and preached and had people have learned at our events, what have they implemented? You guys are going to see at the event, we always have a panel at the event of people that have implemented these strategies. We're going to bring up people, some of them that have been through my brokerage and left, some of them that have been through my brokerage and are here, some of them that never joined my brokerage and have just been part of my inner circle program and have just been a part of, coming to our events and listening to our trainings. And we're going to bring up a variety of agents, and then we're going to talk about what they've done, how they've implemented these strategies. Anybody can do this. I just listed off a bunch of stats for me, which are cool and that I'm proud of. But every single person that's listening to this right now is capable of doing the same exact things. You may not want to fix and flip 1,200 homes, but you may want to fix and flip 10 homes. You may not want a 300 unit property portfolio, but you might want a 30. Okay. So the people that we've taught and trained and have come to these events and have implemented have done a lot of these same things that I've done, but on a smaller scale. Okay. In the last year, I talked about the deal where we split a $300,000 profit on a flip deal with somebody that was in the inner circle. We were a part of $1 million net worth increase deal. I know that probably sounds outlandish. Of course, right now, I'm highlighting some atypical deals that were better than normal, but there was a deal that two people in the inner circle that were in our inner circle were a part of. And it's actually, we did a podcast episode on this deal. This one deal increased the net worth of these two agents by $1 million. One transaction. And again, those two agents will be at the event, but I've already done a podcast on that. I had another one of my agents actually retire early. This is an agent who came to our company, made good money, started investing in passive income, and at the age before she turned 60, she retired. And she's actually traveling around the country right now, living her life, living her best life, and we're going to talk about her too. But the list goes on and on and on. And there are literally hundreds of agents that this message has helped. Another reason why we do that 2-day all-inclusive trip to Aruba giveaway, because we want you to bring more people. We want to have more success stories. The more success stories I have, the more you're helping me, you're helping yourself, but you're helping me as well. And you're helping spread this message. Okay. So with all that being said, again, why not just do Zoom? Why not just, do phone calls or do any other method? Like I said already, coming to a 2-day event is a commitment, right? You're blocking off 2 whole days of your life. There are little to no distractions. I mean, if you're like me and you're listening to a podcast episode and you're in your car or you're at the gym, as soon as your treadmill walk or your run is over, as soon as that car stops, you're cutting that episode, right? So you may get half of the episode, or you may piece together episode after episode, but you're not getting your full attention. So you're going to have 2 full days, not only with me, but also with my team. Okay. So you all know me. You all know Tom Caffarella as kind of the face of the company. Let me tell you, all the stuff that I've done is not just because of me, right? I'm one piece of the puzzle of my company, and you're going to get to meet all of the other people that are on my team and learn about what they do. You're going to get to have conversations with them one-on-one, right? Because if you just listen to me, you're going to miss out on a lot of important aspects about what we do. All right. And I say this just as an example. I know very little about construction. So you could hang out with me. You could talk to me every day. You could be on every one of my Zoom calls. Unfortunately, I can't bring that construction element to the forefront because it's not my forte. So you're going to get to meet not only me, not only my team, but you're also going to get to meet hundreds of other agent investors at the event that are doing what you do, right? And I've heard this before, that people will look at what me and my team have done, and it feels too far away for them to do. It seems like it's not possible. You're going to meet literally hundreds of agents at the event that have done things similar to me, but maybe on a little bit of a smaller scale. Maybe they're closer to where you're at today, right? So you're going to be able to meet and network. You're also going to get a crash course. So I do 2 full days for a reason, right? I mean, it'd be a lot cheaper for me to do a 1-day event. I could probably cut the budget from 6 figures maybe to 50K by doing 1 day. It's just not enough. If it was enough, I would do 1 day. But 2 full-day immersion, like I said, you get to meet my team. So let's go in a little bit more to kind of the outline of the event. I talked about what we're going to cover, what we cover at every single event. But I want to go in a little bit more detail. Okay, so about finding deals. I talked about the fact that we've created mechanisms and systems in our own business to get discounted off-market deals. We buy at least 2 to 3 properties per week, right? I shouldn't say at least. We buy on average 2 to 3 properties per week. And those can be fix and flips. Those can be small buy and holds. Those can be apartment deals. That can be a land deal. And we're buying these, keep in mind, also at a discount. And that's one of the most important things that we can kind of teach you, is that most of the great deals are not going to be found on the multiple listing service, right? So we're going to teach you, no matter what type of property is your ideal property, we're going to teach you how to find it. We're going to teach you how to get it off market. And we're also going to show you how you can generate more listings from going after these off market deals. Because if you can't get a property for a price that you need as an investor, hey, guess what? You can probably get that property as a listing. And that's another one of the big components that we teach at Agent Investor, is like, being an investor increases your agent production. Going after off-market sellers is going to get you listings. Now, that's not what I teach and train on. I'm not teaching and training on how to grow your listing business, but you're going to grow your listing business by default by following our strategies to get off-market deals. We're going to teach you not only how to raise capital, right? And there are many advantages that agents have when it comes to raising capital. Guys, I've raised over $20 million of capital. I am nothing special. There is nothing about me that has people, throwing their cash at me, right? I mean, do I believe that we're a good company to invest in? Yes. Do I believe we have a good track record? Yes. But I'm going to show every single person at the event how you can start the process of building these capital partner relationships. You have to bear in mind, as an agent, you have all of the components necessary to do great investment deals. You know how to find them, you know how to spot them, you know how to comp them. There are a lot of people out there that have got the money, but they don't have the time to do all of the work. So we're going to teach you how to raise capital. We're going to teach you how to do it in a way that's actually going to benefit and help you work your sphere of influence. So by going after capital, you're actually, again, going to have more great conversations with your SOI, and you're going to do more retail deals, okay? We're going to teach you how to partner with us. This is a very huge thing. And so it's the biggest shortcut that you can have as an agent who maybe comes across deals, but maybe doesn't have the construction expertise, or maybe doesn't have the capital to do a deal. We're going to show you how you can work directly with us. So if you stumble into that great deal, like the $300,000 profit deal that somebody in the inner circle stumbled across, we're going to show you how you can partner with us on those deals, whether it's a small deal or a big deal. And again, you don't have to partner with us. We're also going to teach you how you can partner with other people, how you can create a value proposition so that if you don't want to work with our team, you can bring that same deal to somebody else, okay? Our construction team, we're going to show you the systems that we use in our business. We're going to show you how we go into a property, how we budget for that property, how we budget for that renovation, whether it's a $5,000 renovation, maybe on a rental property where somebody moves out, all the way up to building 100-unit apartment buildings. We're going to show you how to budget. We're going to show you how to find the right contractors. And finding the right contractors is a much more challenging thing than it probably should be. But the reality is good versus bad contractors can make or break your business. And we're going to show you how to find the right ones, where to look, what questions to ask, and what you need to do in order to make sure that you're going to get your jobs done on time, on budget, with limited hassle and headache, okay? We're going to show you how to wholesale deals, okay? Most agents are probably not necessarily in the business to wholesale deals, and you may not even realize how much money you're leaving on the table as an agent by not wholesaling a deal. But I will say this, wholesaling a deal is one way to do a deal with no money. And in fact, the first deal I ever did on Cameron Ave in Somerville, Mass., which my real estate brokerage, Cameron Real Estate Group, is named after, was a $115,000 wholesale deal that I got, and I put up no money. I'm gonna talk about that deal a little bit and show you how to do that. By the way, again, guys, keep in mind, these events are limited to the first 250 people that register. So if you're hearing this, please make sure to go to www.agentinvestorevent.com, www.agentinvestorevent.com. Now, whether you're going to register for the event we're talking about, April 2023, or a future event, if you're fairly sure that you're going to be able to make the event and you're somewhat interested at least, just register. I can't stress enough, don't overthink whether or not you can definitely make it. Just register, get your name, get your seat reserved. If for whatever reason you can't end up making it, all it takes is just send us an email, let us know that you can't come, okay? We're also going to do at the event panels. So like I said, we're going to bring up a bunch of agents just like you who may be just starting investing a year ago or 2 years ago or 3 years ago. They're going to talk about how they overcame all of the obstacles that many of you have that are newer today, okay? So then we're going to have a Q&A. We're going to have a Q&A session where everybody just gets to ask questions. One thing I would suggest highly, if you can, before the event, think through what you're struggling with. Think through what your obstacles are and write down some questions. When we go to Q&A sessions, ask them. Be selfish. There's a saying, there's no such thing as a stupid question. And it's kind of a funny thing. I know you've heard it before. I know it's been repeated. But I'm going to tell you, like, even with 250 people in a room, you'd be surprised when we go to Q&A how few questions get asked. Be selfish, right? If you're thinking about an obstacle or a question that you might have, ask it. That's what you come for. That's another reason to come to an in-person event versus a Zoom, versus a Facebook Live, versus a podcast. You're listening to a podcast right now or a Facebook Live. You want to ask a question. Guess what? You can't ask it. You can't ask it. In person, you can, right? Ask it in front of a group. So I want to talk about some things that I hear when I'm promoting these events. In the real estate agent terminology, I would call these objections. These are things that people say to me that even though they probably should be coming to the event, this is the type of stuff that I hear sometimes. And I want to just make sure I cover it. So one thing I hear is it's too far. And it's interesting because obviously these events are in Greater Boston, okay? For anybody that's in New England, saying that an event is too far if you can drive to it, to me, is not valid. Guys, I've traveled all over the country to go to events like this. I've gone cross country to California. I've gone to Texas. I've gone to Florida. I've gone to Omaha, Nebraska. You guys think I wanted to go to Omaha for any reason? No, I didn't. But I went there for an event. And if you live in New England and you are serious about getting off the real estate roller coaster, don't sleep on the fact that we're in your backyard. Do not sleep on the fact that you're in our backyard. Make sure you head out to the event. If you have to get on a plane, I get it, right? If you're listening to this, you're in California, you're in Vegas, you're in Utah, you're in Texas, you're in Florida. I get it. It's more inconvenient. But again, I can't stress enough that there is something about making a big trek out to a place. I guarantee that if you're flying out here from Utah, you're going to pay attention for these full 2 days. You're going to get value. I guarantee you're not going to regret coming to one of these events, okay? Second thing I hear sometimes is, well, we're not, with Cameron Real Estate Group, your brokerage, right? And I talked about the fact that I have 350 agents in my brokerage. And a lot of people will think, well, is this only for your agents? And the answer is, not only is it not just for my agents, 90% of the people that are going to be at this event are not going to be with my brokerage, okay? And there's a lot of different reasons for that. Probably most common reason why is most of my agents probably hear this message every single day, right? I don't just teach and train, general. I also teach and train within my brokerage. So the agents in my company have heard me over and over again. I'm much less of a superstar within my own company than I am outside of my company. So a lot of my agents don't come to these events. So if you come to one of these events, you're going to see, yes, out of the 250, 200, 300 people, you may have 30 people, you may have 10% of the people that are my agents, but most are not going to be from my company. So this event is open to anybody. And you're going to see people from all different companies. I could go down the list. Of course, you're in real estate, you know all the brokerages, but there's no brokerage that won't be representing at this event. And we're not pitching our brokerage. We're talking about investing at this event. So don't let that stop you. I also hear from many people that they're not ready to invest yet. I'm not ready today. I'll be ready next year or the year after. And most of the reason for that is somebody thinks, I don't have the time, I don't have the money, right? Not having the time is not a reason. Again, that $300,000 profit that we split 50-50, those were real estate agents in our inner circle that came across a fix and flip deal. All that they did was, instead of listing the property, they helped facilitate us buying the property. So there was no additional time needed on their part. There was also no capital needed on their part. So by saying that you're not ready, you could potentially miss out on earning $150,000 without having any money, without having any construction expertise. So the other thing I want to say about the not ready part is that when you come to one of these 2-day events, do I want you to leave the next day and start investing in real estate? Yes, I do. I wish that everybody who came to one of these events, I wish that somebody came to one of these events would just go out and invest the next day. The reality is that these events and what we train on, they're building blocks. Hey everyone, this is Tom Caffarella. I want to quickly interrupt the podcast to number one, thank all of my loyal listeners of the Agent Investor podcast and tell you guys really quickly about an exciting event we have coming up. It's a 2-day event. It's called the Passive Income Real Estate Investor Event that you can find out more details at passiveincomeevent.com. We're going to be doing a 2-day training session teaching all of the agents and all of the investors at the event on how to achieve financial freedom through real estate. If you're like me and your goal is to not work 80, 100 hours a week grinding, selling real estate, flipping homes, definitely check out this event. We're going to teach you how to build a passive income portfolio so that you can retire, so that you can work when you want, how you want, and ultimately achieve financial freedom. So again, go to passiveincomeevent.com for more details, and we look forward to seeing you at the upcoming event. It all starts with your education. There's a saying, the more you learn, the more you earn. I'm going to say it again, the more you learn, the more you earn. Meaning your education should start today. Just because your education starts today doesn't mean you're going to invest tomorrow. In fact, I'm going to tell you a pretty sad and pathetic stat of mine. From the day I read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad in 2003 until I did my first deal was 6 years. Now, I promise you, if you come out to my events and you get help from us individually, I promise you it's not going to take you 6 years. It took me 6 years. So it took me 6 years to do my first deal, but it started with the education. It started with me setting my mind to say, you know what? I am going to invest, okay? And by the way, the reason that I did not invest for those 6 years is I never had a mentor. I never had one-on-one help. We're going to show you at the event how to get one-on-one help for free, how to get individualized, personalized help from me for free. And that's something that you're not going to be able to find out about unless you're at the event, okay? Another thing that people tell me is for reasons they can't come, hey, I can't make the entire event. I have to come late this day. I have to leave early this day. Listen, I'd rather you there for 10% of the event than 0% of the event. Now, I hope that you do your best to block out those 2 days. I hope that you prioritize and say, hey, listen, sales will make me a living. Investing will make me wealthy. This is part of my retirement plan. I'm serious about getting off the real estate roller coaster. I hope that you make a commitment to it. But if something gets in the way, you got to drop your kids off in the morning, you got to show up 10 minutes late or 20, do not worry about it. Do not worry about it. Most of the attendees are going to be there for the full 2 days. Most of them will come on time. Most of them won't leave late. But listen, we're not going to give you any guilt about what you need to do during those 2 days. Come for whatever time you can come, participate as much as you can, and it's okay. Again, I'd rather you go to www.agentinvestorevent.com and register than not. Register, try to get there for as much as you can. And the last thing that literally burns me up that people tell me, hey, this sounds like a beginner event. And those are fighting words for me. Those are fighting words for me. And I'm going to tell you why. Real estate investing is a very simple business. It doesn't mean that everyone's going to do it. It doesn't mean that it's super easy, but it's very simple. All of the principles that we teach on, they work whether you're at my level or above, or whether you're doing your first deal. Learning how to find deals, learning how to fund them, learning how to do the construction better, learning about systems. I don't care what level you're at. You're going to get value out of this event. And there's no such thing. Like I'll say to those people, I'll say, what advanced topics would you want to learn about? And I always get a puzzled face. because there are no such thing as advanced topics. This is not calculus, right? This is not advanced calculus. This is not like going from basic math to algebra to trigonometry to calculus to advanced calculus. Luckily, you don't have to go up that many ladders to be a multimillionaire as a real estate investor. Everything that we teach can be done by a beginner. Everything that we teach can be done by somebody who's advanced. I've helped many people scale their retail real estate businesses, their investing businesses. I would be shocked if you came and you did not get value at any level. And by the way, if you felt like you weren't, walk right up to me, tell me what you want to learn about, and I'll make sure I incorporate that into this program. Okay. So I want to talk. The last thing I want to talk about is just my experience with events. I want to talk about some of the events that I've gone to and kind of what my takeaways were. Now, I've probably been to 20 or 30 events, and I can't talk about all 20 or 30, but I want to mention some of them by name just briefly, just because I want to let you know like what I took away from them and why I think events are so important. And this is in no order. Somebody had mentioned we've all gone to Omaha, LOL. So the one I went to in Omaha was Jeff Cohn. Jeff Cohn is a team leader, one of the most successful team leaders. He's actually come out and he spoke at some of our events. He came out to Boston for one of my events a couple of years ago. He's a friend of mine and very successful with team building. And I went out to his office. I had been on so many of his calls, so many of his training sessions. He's my age. He does very well. And it's interesting. I showed up and left, and I took something away from that event that I never thought I would. And it's that he has real team culture and camaraderie, and everybody in that unit, like they have a lot in common. And that was something that I took away from that event that I never would have known. I never would have saw otherwise. Okay, I wanted to put another event. I went to an event called the Raise Masters Conference. This was maybe October, November of last year. And this is Hunter Thompson. He runs a coaching program, Raise Masters. I'm one of the mentees in it. I'm definitely looking to step up my capital raising game. I have a goal of raising $20 million of capital this year. And I went and I looked all around the room, and what I took away from the event, just something very simple, is that everybody in the room had a niche, right? And I tell the story sometimes about the pilot who has a podcast. He has this training specifically on how pilots can invest in real estate. And I walked away from that event going, you really have to niche down to be successful. I went to another event in Ohio, Dayton, Ohio. You guys think I wanted to go to Dayton? No, I didn't want to go to Dayton, Ohio. I went to Dayton, Ohio to see a guy called John Cochran, another person who I used to follow in the beginning of my career. What John did really well is he utilizes systems. He has a system for everything. He actually has something called System Saturday, where he covers one system every single week. And he showed us how to create and document our own systems. And it's something that we immediately implemented in our business and have been using 10 years later. I went out to see another guru, Josh Cantwell, out in Florida. And really good event. Big takeaway from that event was that he talked about how he utilized a team to help find him deals, how he used real estate agents to find him deals, and how to use and build a brokerage to find deals. That was something I implemented, and I'm here 350 agents later, based on the principles that Josh taught about utilizing and building a brokerage in order to help find you investing deals. Okay. And the list goes on and on. Like I could continue to just go on and talk about all of the events and all of the places I've gone. And these are all far away places, right? And, it's interesting because it's also odd. If you live in New England, there's really nobody else teaching and training on investing. I don't know why. I've always found that I always found that to be strange because in a lot of parts of the country, there's multiple people that teach and train on investing. For whatever reason, our company is the only one who does it locally at a high level. Not just maybe one training here and there, but like focuses on it. So if you're in New England, just like I said, don't sleep on the fact that we're in your backyard. And if you're from another part of the country, don't sleep on the fact that we specifically help agents invest in real estate. There's no other brand, there's no other company that specifically helps agents invest in real estate, okay? So again, the more you learn, the more you earn. You're the average of the 5 people that you spend the most amount of time with. Spend some more time with us. If you guys look and see what we've done, what we've accomplished starting from nothing, if my message resonates with you, if you see what we've been able to achieve and you want some part of that, get around us, see what we're doing. We're not, as humans, we're not super creative. We tend, including myself, we tend to kind of copy and mimic and mirror the people that we spend the most amount of time with. So if you're copying and mirroring and mimicking people that are not getting the results that you want, you're likely going to get similar results to them. So if this message resonates with you, make sure that you block off the time to come to the event at www.agentinvestorevent.com. Again, www.agentinvestorevent.com. And guys, we've got hundreds of testimonials from agents that have come to these events. They're all on our website. In fact, if you guys want to see some of those testimonials, you can go on our YouTube channel. You can go into our Facebook group, and you'll see, just by scrolling through our Facebook group at www.agentinvestor.com, you'll all see like tons of pictures from prior events. You'll see people, with big Aruba, tickets. You'll see people having a good time. You'll see packed rooms. You'll feel the excitement and energy of the events just from looking at the pictures. And the last one we did was really cool. I mean, we completely packed the house. Like, I was almost worried we were going to run out of seats at the last one. And that's why we're capping this to the first 250 people that register, because I want to make sure that we don't have any issues like that now. So I know I've talked about the event for long enough. I mean, I went pretty long. All reasons to come to the event, what the topics are going to be like, and all that good stuff. We will have multiple speakers. It won't just be my voice. Of course, I feel comfortable up there talking, and I love teaching, but I know that hearing me for an entire full 2 days might be a little bit dry, might be a little bit boring. So we have multiple speakers, people on my team, people from outside my team, other agents that invest in real estate that have followed these principles. So again, just to kind of, leave it with all of you, if you're more than like a 7 out of 10 serious about investing in real estate, just go to this event. If you are not serious about investing in real estate, cross investing off your list. It's definitely something that you need to kind of take action to achieve. It's not going to happen by accident. Investing is kind of a weird thing. When people start, they start to get addicted to it, and they achieve massive results over a 5 or 10 year period. But you have to start. And if you've kind of thought about coming to one of these events in the past and you haven't, and you've kind of just been sitting around, I really encourage you to start by taking action today. Action is the most important thing. Even if you're just coming to an event, that's a starting point, right? Little incremental steps. I talk all the time about building and putting little bricks down, right? You're trying to build this big mansion for yourself, for your family, for your loved ones, for friends. You build it brick by brick. And by coming to this event, you're putting another few bricks down. And you're going to get the building blocks that you need in order to be successful. So I hope that this was valuable for you to listen to. I hope that I see all of you at the event. And again, keep in mind, if you're listening to this into the future, after this event on April 2023, we're always going to have these events, and you can always figure out when our next event is at www.agentinvestorevent.com and just register. So I'll see you guys soon. Hopefully I'll see you in April, but if not, hopefully I'll see you at a future event if you're listening to this well into the future. Thanks again for listening to the Agent Investor Podcast, and especially thank you for sharing the show with other agents and reviewing the show on iTunes. Every time you share the show and leave a review, you are potentially changing someone's life. To get free weekly education, strategies, and to connect with other agent investors across the country, join our free Facebook group at agentinvestor.com. Again, that's agentinvestor.com.